So this topic tonight, it's going to be very interactive. So live, you get the full interaction, but if you watch the recording, there's still a lot of action items, a lot of steps that you can take. So please grab a piece of paper, grab um, notebook, all the things, because we're going to talk about something that really carrying the theme of what the special guest speaker was going to talk about. And it's looking at our beliefs, right? And this is something that's really deep. It's really powerful. It's really like the part of us that sometimes hold us back, that we don't even realizing we're holding ourselves back. And it's called the not me, right? Not me. This, I did not develop this, but I was on a call with my coach last week, and he introduced this, and I was like, this is genius, like mind blowing. And the not me is like that voice, those actions, those beliefs that say, that's not who I am. I can't do that. That's just not me, right? So today we're going to kind of gently shine a light on those really invisible bars that keep us trapped in those old stories, the old fears, the old patterns, especially when it comes to money. But really, this is in every area. This can be applied to every area of our life. And then we're going to start looking at what needs to happen to step out from behind those bars into a new, freer, more aligned version of ourselves. So, um, imagine for a moment, okay, that you're standing in like this beautiful garden, sun shining. In my world, the sun is out and it is over 100. We saw 100 degrees today for the first time in months and months and months, and it was beautiful, right? The flowers are out, really. It's really the life that you desire to live, right? But then imagine that there's kind of like these invisible bars around you and you can't move forward, right? These bars are those old beliefs, those fears, those stories of what you've told yourself about who you are, right? It's your identity, what you've attached as your identity. Now, I want you to think for a second about a recent situation where maybe fear, anxiety, maybe some old patterns have really shown up for you. Maybe it was a money conversation that you avoided. Maybe it was a purchase you regretted. Maybe it was a dream that you didn't pursue because that those words of like, that's just not me. Sometimes it shows up in ways too of like, I don't think we say that we're not worthy, but deep down we believe that maybe we're not worthy. And so I want you to really close your eyes for a minute if you feel comfortable. If you don't, it's fine, but just take a minute and really picture that moment. Okay. Picture the moment where you're standing there, but that fear, the anxiety, those patterns showed up. What did your not me do? What did it say? What did it feel like? You can write this down, which is really powerful because it allows you to get it out of your head and not on paper. But I want you to just at least think about it. Um, and let's just take a minute and write down what comes up for you. I'm doing this as well. All right, well, we're thinking about that and it's fresh in our mind. I want you to think about and to know that this not me, it's that part of you that does act from fear, scarcity, that old programming. It's again, it's that voice that says, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this. Maybe I always mess things up. It's not your true self, though. This is a survival mechanism that we've developed over time, right? It's a story that we learned somewhere along the way. Sometimes the story came from, um, a lot of times it came from our childhood, right? Of asking for something and our parents telling us no. It could be as simple as that. It could be from, middle school, right? We get really bold and we get really brave and we take some steps, right? We get the courage to ask for something and we're shot down. And it starts to these stories, right? Start to show up as a way, and it's a survival mechanism that we develop this because let's just say, for example, in middle school, right? We're shot down. But we develop this survival mechanism because all of our friends are around, most likely, right? And we shrug it off. We say, "Oh, it's okay. I never wanted that anyways." Right? Those are the patterns that we start to develop because it's our way of surviving in that situation. So, let's get a little curious. What are some things that your not me does or says? Maybe it's things like, I would never ask for a raise. Not me would never ask for a raise, right? Not me always overspends when stressed. Not me avoids looking at the bank account, right? Not me stays quiet when money is tight. Those are just a few examples specifically around money, but write down a few not me statements that feel true for you right now. There's no judgment here, right? There's no shame. It's just being honest with ourselves. All right. So with this, it's time to kind of name those invisible bars, right? Naming those beliefs. So what beliefs, what labels are keeping you stuck? These might be things like, things we say, I'm not good with money. I have to be responsible. I have to be the responsible one all the time. I used that one a lot, right? It's like, here's another one that we use, I think, without even thinking about it, but like, if we want it done right, we have to do it ourselves, right? That's a belief that's keeping us stuck in a lot of ways. Another one, I'm the fixer, so I can't ask for help. I lived that for many, many, many years. Like, who am I going to go to help, go to for help when I'm the one that fixes everybody else's problems? There's nobody to help me fix mine, right? I'm the fixer. Those were invisible bars I lived behind for a long time. Here's another one. It's an example. I'm not the kind of person who can save or invest, right? These bars might feel real, but they're actually stories that you can rewrite. So, um, let's take a minute and write down, what bars do you see around you? And again, this can be in any area. It doesn't have to be money related, right? I'm writing down what comes to mind for me isn't money related. So I gave some examples of money, but it can be in any area. All right, so now we get to kind of flip the script a little bit, right? And this is kind of like, let's just say like we're going to play a little game, right? I want you to continue to thinking about, this challenging situation that you're facing, right? And asking yourself, what would not me do in this situation, right? So whatever's going on right now, whatever you're thinking about, what would not me do in this situation? Maybe not me would freeze. Maybe not me would avoid having the conversation. Maybe not me would overspend, or maybe not me would stay silent, not say anything at all. But we get to flip that around, right? And turn it around and say, what would future me, the confident one, the free one, the aligned me, do instead? Would she set a boundary? Would she ask for help? Would she take this really scary but really brave step forward? Would she speak up? What would future me do in this situation? Another way to look at this is a lot of times people kind of project. They look at what's happening in other people's lives and they say, well, I can't do that because you're setting these invisible bars around, right? Really, what it is you've created this identity of, hey, that's not me. I couldn't do that. But future me is going to look at what those people are doing, the ones that I really admire, the ones that are doing the things that I want to do. Future me is going to do what it is that they're doing, take the steps and follow some of the path that they took, learning from them, right? So it's about getting away from the invisible bars and really stepping into future me. So write down, these answers of what would future me do instead of not me, right? This is where the transformation really starts to begin. You start to see the choice that you have in front of you. This goes back to one I've said this and I've quoted it so many times, but one of my most loved quotes is everything you want is on the other side of an uncomfortable conversation. And oftentimes that uncomfortable conversation starts with ourselves, right? It's really about looking at, are we willing to look at where we're at versus where we want to go? And then what do we need to do to get there? So future me, this is where future me is really important, right? Um, it allows you to start breaking down some of those barriers. It's important to know that your identity isn't fixed. It's fluid, it's flexible. You get to choose who you want to be every single day in each situation, right? As a matter of fact, when we were planning to come to Sturgis and work the rally, I told James, I said, I think I need a bit of an attitude adjustment. I need it, and not that's not meant to be a bad thing, but I'm not one that jokes around with people, right? Like things you put a line of 100 people in front of me and I'm supposed to be checking you in. I let that stress get to me, and that's not who I want to be. everybody's coming in to get checked in. We want to have a good time. Everybody's here for fun, right? And so part of my identity isn't the stressed out one when there's 100 people in front of me. I get to try on this new role. This new identity, right, is somebody who has a good time, that just stays cool, calm, and collected, right? That jokes and laughs. And it's so interesting that we attach so much of our identity and we think it's fixed, and it really isn't. So you can take a minute and write a short script. Maybe it's an affirmation, right, for future me in that situation that you're thinking about, right? Here's just a few examples based on some of the money ones that we've talked about. But future me checks the bank account with curiosity, not fear, right? Future me asks for what she deserves. I know for some of us we've had conversations about the word deserve, right? And so that can be an interesting one. But future me spends money that's aligned with her values and what brings her joy in life, right? So using this short script, this short affirmation, you are directly attaching this to a situation that you are currently going through. And that's why it's so powerful, right? I encourage you to write it down. I encourage you to say it out loud. I encourage you to truly feel it in your body, because that's where your new story starts to take root. This is where you get to really start to change those beliefs that we have carried for so long that no longer are serving us, right? Um, this can be done for every situation that comes up, right? This can be done. Take a minute. I mean, really, in 15 or 20 minutes, you can really start to rewire a belief that you've had. I think that's incredible, because most often, now, does it change instantly in that 15, 20 minutes? Of course not, right? We have to work at it. But the idea that we can take a belief and start to rewire it in just a quick amount of time really says a lot about the power that we hold within ourselves, right? Um, so use this. Um, Write those affirmations, say them out loud, start to rewire those beliefs. Um, I absolutely want to say that this is where, I will say thank you to, showing up live, to listening to the recording, whatever, but really for showing up for yourself today, right? Remember that that's really what this is all about. It's showing up. I say this all the time. I want you to show up for yourself. And remember that stepping out from behind those invisible bars, those not me beliefs, it's a process. It might feel a little bit wobbly. It might be terrifying at some, depending on what that belief is. It's important to know that you're now aware of it. And, just like they say, awareness is the first step, right? Once you're aware of it, you start to move through it, right? You can choose to move through it. Let me just put it that way, because again, we all have a choice here. This week, I absolutely invite you to notice when your not me shows up, those little sayings that come up in a whole host of different situations, right? Start to notice them. Practice choosing your future me's response instead, right? I'm always a big fan of journaling or reflecting on how it, feels to try on this new identity, right? It's not just reflecting or journaling on the situation at hand, but this is a new identity that you're developing, right? So try it on, see how it fits, and journal. Allow yourself to reflect on that. You're not alone in this journey. We're all here breaking free together. It's one step at a time. Uh, I have said more often than not, a lot of times I do these things, I say kind of selfishly, because these are areas that I need work on as well. And so I know that if I need it, somebody else probably needs it too. And that's why we do these. So it's a reminder of one step at a time. We're all starting at some place in some area, right? As always, if you want, extra support, I'm always here. Um, you guys know I've said it before, if I can move through this, you definitely can too. So, um, I encourage you to use this, recognize where it shows up for you, and try on this new identity and see what happens. All right. Questions? Thoughts?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It gets things
Hmm.
moving.
Hmm. It's also important to recognize the patterns that keep showing up with this not me identity too, right? These invisible bars, because one for me, the one that I am writing down, it's been a pattern. For a while, it's fine. And then it shows up, you get back into that cycle again, right? Ready to break free from some of these cycles. So why is the cycle happening? Right? So um you're welcome. I hope this helps. I hope that you use it. Um yeah. All right. Bye for now. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks.